Welcome to another True Review. Today I'm bringing you Beatbuddy's The Tale of Guardians by Freaks Games on the Xbox One. It's quite hard to categorise this game. It's kind of a musical exploration, puzzle solving adventure with also some combat elements as well in it. So there's quite a lot going for it, and I was quite sceptical at the first and I thought the music was just going to be a gimmick, but it actually does help enhance the gameplay. The game's set in an underwater kingdom which is ruled by a Prince Maestro who is up to no good, and you get welcomed by your sleep by your sister. You play some kind of ethereal character who swims around the watery world, solving puzzles, collecting beat crystals, finding keys to open doors, and a lot of the time trying to figure out how to get the key to the lock of the door, and that's where the puzzle elements come into it. The music obviously plays a big part in this game. With a name like Beatbuddy, you would expect it to do so, and there's a varying amount of soundtracks throughout the 6 levels, but what is striking about the game is the actual music enhances the gameplay. The character's movement is kind of in time with the beat of the game, and a lot of the puzzle solving reflects that as well, having to bypass obstacles, snare drums for example, like a force field of bubbles which you can't progress through unless you actually dash in time with the beat to actually progress through it. If you dash outside the beat, you'll bump into the wall and take damage. There's also the hi-hat crabs as well, who are there tapping away to the rhythm, and you have to knock them out and make them hide in their holes so they withdraw these dancing coral who are dancing to the beat. And then you've got a time limit to dash through where the coral has been, and your dashing kind of works where if you dash in time with the beat, you'll boost forward. If you're trying to dash outside of the time of the beat, you won't actually get a significant speed boost to actually get through the trap. So it works really well. The music, it's just a really clever use of it. I do think the musical sections work best when you get hold of a vehicle. You've got like a companion, a reluctant companion at that, who joins you on your adventure, and he always sits in this kind of really rickety submersible kind of craft, which later does get a weapon, gets a gun, and those sections actually meet up with the music even better. They're so in time with the music, and again the dash mechanic is even more prominent in those sections of the game. The music, the dashing just goes with the beat of the music so well. I'm just amazed how they've actually managed to actually match it up in such a way. I've not even mentioned the graphics yet, but as you can see from the video footage, they're beautifully hand-drawn. I'm a real sucker for hand-drawn graphics, hand-drawn visuals. I think it gives the game a more personal touch, something that you can tell the developers have actually taken care about, and it really just shows their talent here. They've really done a good job in depicting an underwater kingdom, an underwater world. I think it's probably one of the best underwater representations of a world, going way back to Echo the Dolphin on the old 16-bit consoles. I mean, it's just an amazing depiction of an underwater world. And again, that's obviously based around music. You'd expect it to have a great soundtrack, and it does. Each of the 6 chapters of the game have a completely different soundtrack, and like I say, they've managed to marry your interactions with the environment in with the beat of each musical track and each chapter, which is an amazing feat. In terms of gameplay, you'll be exploring the underwater world, trying to find the exit to each area. Now, the exit is usually blocked by doors which require keys, and most of the time you'll be trying to find out how to find the key and then how to get the key to the lock. And sometimes the puzzles don't even end there. You can get the key into the lock, but then that releases the power source, but the power source is blocked, so you have to make a path for the power source to actually reach the lock and actually power up the door for you to get through. So it sounds more complicated than it is, but it actually is pretty straightforward, and when you do start playing the game, you instantly pick up on what you have to do in each of the sections. And some of the puzzles do span several screens as well, lining up deflective targets and stuff, so when you fire off a beat drum you bounce around a few times and then hit a barrier which will crumble due to the force you've managed to build up by bouncing around. My favourite section of the game by far is when you actually get in the vehicles, which you do several times per level. I really think the music marries up with the interactions on screen really well in those sections, more so than the sections where you're on foot. The gameplay is also kept fresh by introducing new puzzle elements every chapter, and also new moves, like for example you do get a dash attack move later on in the game, and you do also learn new skills such as finding normally invisible hidden notes, which you simply press the B button and it kind of like a pulse radiates from your body, and if there's a hidden note within your location it kind of indicates which direction it's in. So the gameplay is kept fresh throughout, which is always a good thing. As always, we've been on an achievement hunt myself. I like to mention the achievements in the game. There's 15 in this. Most of them will be attained just through generally playing the game through, completing the chapters, collecting 2,000 of the beat crystals. The only one I can envisage there being an issue with is the time attack one. You have to complete the game within 3 hours. At the moment I've been taking about an hour per level, but I have been looking around the levels an awful lot. Obviously going through levels the first time, figuring the puzzles out is obviously going to be a bit more difficult, and having to collect 2,000 crystals is obviously adding a lot to the time. If you're not going for the crystals, then I would imagine that you could shave a lot of time off that. So I can't imagine it being too hard of a 1,000 gamer score for all you achievement hunters out there. Now the game has unfortunately shipped with a couple of bugs which developers are aware about, and I've already said they are rectifying, so it's not going to be a major issue, but obviously I do need to make you aware of them. The main enemy that directly attacks you are called soldier enemies. They normally charge at you, and when they miss they're vulnerable for a few seconds. Unfortunately on the 2nd and 6th level they don't actually move, so the only way to make them vulnerable is to actually physically bump into them to yourself, taking damage, or you can just simply avoid them. There's also a few graphical glitches as well with certain items on screen just flickering in and out of existence, but like I say, they have promised they are working on that with a patch, and they have also promised to support the game as well with DLC as well. So overall I'm going to give this game a great 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed my time with this game. It's the perfect marriage of gameplay and music combined together. A really fantastic achievement by the guys, and I'm really going to keep an eye on this studio, because if this is anything to go by, if it's first Xbox One game, the future is going to be very good. So I hope you enjoyed that review, guys. Please tune in next week for more new indie game reviews, and remember to like, comment and subscribe. I thank you all for watching.